Hi students, in this video I'll be going through questions 2, 3 and 5 of the WA3 revision worksheet 1. Right, so let's start with question 2A. So in question 2A, you need to find the values of x and y. Right, in order to do this question, I would like to recap one property of the angles of a triangle that we actually learned in class. All right, so it's called the exterior angle of a triangle. So how does this property work? Okay, so firstly, you will need a triangle, right? So let's say you have a triangle like this. Okay, then over here, if I extend this line, I will have an exterior angle. All right. So why do we call this an exterior angle? Is because this angle is outside of the triangle. Okay, so let's label all the angles here. So let's call this angle A, angle B, angle C, and the exterior angle, I'll call it angle D. All right. So we have three angles inside a triangle, A, B, C, as well as the exterior angle D that is outside the triangle. Okay, we know that the sum of angles inside a triangle is 180. So in other words, we will have, we can write angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equals to 180 degrees. All right. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, but if we focus at this part of the diagram, okay, angles C and D are angles, adjacent angles on a straight line. So we also know that adjacent angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So in other words, I can also write this. Angle D plus angle C equals to 180 degrees. Okay, so angle A plus B plus C is 180. Angle D plus C is also equals to 180. So in other words, I can say that angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equals to angle D plus angle C. Okay, so you can see that angle C can be found on both sides. It can be found here and here. Okay, in other words, what I can do is I can remove it from both sides. Okay, and what I'll be left with will be angle A plus angle B equals to angle D. All right, so if I were to erase away angle C, okay, then this will be the case that we have. This exterior angle, okay, so this is the exterior angle, it will be equals to the sum of the other two interior angles, the two interior angles inside the triangle, right? That is opposite to it, okay? So this is what we have. Angle D equals to angle A plus angle B. Right, so this property is known as the exterior angle of a triangle. And so in order to find angle X, we can actually make use of this particular property, all right? So angle X is an angle that is inside the triangle over here, ABF. Okay, so you can see if I were to draw, okay, if I were to highlight triangle ABF, okay, so we have the triangle ABF over here, right? Okay, can you see any exterior angle there's outside angle triangle ABF? So the exterior angle, if I extend this line, the exterior angle will be here, right? Okay, so now maybe I draw it separately. So I have A, B here, and then if I extend this line and then go here, okay, so this is F. Okay, so these two will be the interior angles. Okay, and this one will be the exterior angle, right? So it's the same thing, right? So the exterior angle will be equals to the sum of the two interior angles. So we can actually make use of this to help us to find angle X. All right, so let's write down the working. So the working will be X plus 33 equals to 115. Okay, so the property that we are using is exterior angle of triangle. Okay, so if I bring the 33 over to and subtract it, okay, then I'll be able to get the answer 82. Right? So exterior angle of triangle. Okay, now that we have found angle X, okay, can we use something similar to find angle Y, right? So if after a while of thinking, you should be able to notice once again angle Y is the interior angle, and you have 36 as the other interior angle. So now if I focus on this triangle, triangle BEC, right? Okay, BEC. If I focus on this triangle, if I focus on this triangle, then this will be the exterior angle, right? Right, the exterior angle, then you see the exterior angle will be over here, right? So X is now the exterior angle. Okay, so if I were to draw it, the diagram separately, it will look something like this. Let me draw it for you. Okay, so E here, C here. Okay, then let's draw a long. Not good. We draw a long line from here to here. Okay, so not very straight. Right, then let me complete the triangle. Okay, so B is here. So this is the X, right? Right. So which we found to be 82 degrees. And then this is the Y that we want to find. And then we have the 36 here. So this exterior angle 82 will be equals to Y plus 36. So we can write down the working. So let's write over here. So Y plus 36 equals to 82. So this is also exterior angle of triangle, right? So Y will be 82 minus 36. So that will give you 46, right? Okay, so it'll be very good if you can learn this property lah. All right. Okay, but another way to solve the question, let's say if you can't really think about the exterior angle of triangle, you can always use adjacent angle on a straight line to find this one first. Okay, so this one will be 65, right? Then after that, 33 plus 65 plus X gives you 180, right? Angle sum of triangle. So you just do an extra step, right? Okay, so part B of the question is actually a good chance for you to practice, okay, using the property exterior angle of a triangle. All right. So now you see X is over here. Okay, but inside this triangle, you also have another unknown angle Y. So it's like unlikely that you can treat X to be an interior angle because you don't know any other angles inside the triangle. So maybe you can try to find a triangle whereby X is the exterior angle instead. So you should be able to find, right, triangle TEC over here. So if I draw it separately, it's going to be something like this. All right, triangle TEC. Okay, then you see X will be the exterior angle. And this one will be 31. And then this one will be 35. Right, so X is the exterior angle. It will be equals to 31 plus 35. Right, so let's do that. So X equals to 35 plus 31. Okay, so exterior angle of triangle. Okay, so you'll get 66 degree, 66. Okay, so X will be 66. Right, so now we know this one to be 66 degrees already. Okay, now we need to find Y. Okay, so Y is in the same triangle as X. Okay, so if only I know this one, I can find this angle ASB. If I can find AST or ASB with the same angle, then I'll be able to find Y already because 180 minus the other two angles will give me Y. So maybe you can think of how you can find this angle AST over here. We can once again make use of exterior angle of a triangle, right? So you see this one, it is B, okay, coming down to D. Okay, then from here, I extend here, this will be S. This is the angle that I want to find, right? Okay, ASB or AST lah. Okay, T is over here, right? Then this will be 30, and then this would be 36 degrees. So I can find this angle. Once I find this angle, then I can just use angle sum of triangle to find Y already. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so angle AST. So always write your reasons properly, okay? Okay, present your work clearly. It will be 30 plus 36. Okay, also equals to 66 degrees. So this one is a exterior angle of triangle, right? Okay, so this angle also happens to be 66, but it's usually not like this, okay? So then angle Y will just be 180 minus 66 minus 66. Right, so let's finish up the question. So Y plus 66 plus 66 will be 180. So this is angle sum of triangle, right? Then so Y will be 180 minus 66 minus 66. So that will give us 48. That's the answer. Right? Okay, so do go and practice more of this the property, okay? Exterior angle of a triangle. Okay, let's look at question 3 now. So diagram shows a rhombus ABCD with AD produced to E, all right? Okay, AD produced to E means you extend the line AD and then you go further down and then point E is on with the extension, okay? A triangle CDE is an equilateral triangle. So CDE is an equilateral triangle. So once you have such given such info, we know that equilateral triangle, the angles inside are all 60. So what you can do is you can just mark them out. Okay, so that later on you don't have to keep reading the question. Okay, but just by looking at the diagram, you have the info at hand already. Okay, then we're asked to find angle BEC, which is the small angle over here. Right, so this is an equilateral triangle, but another thing to take note is that ABCD is a rhombus. Okay, mean for a rhombus, we know that one of the properties is that all the four sides are the same length. So this means that, okay, this over here we have equilateral triangle. So all these three lengths of the triangle are the same already. But then CD is also a side in the rhombus. So this means that actually all these lengths are all the same. So all these lengths are all the same also, right? Because CD is a rhombus. Okay, so these are, maybe you can just mark it down in the diagram so that you don't have to keep on reading it. Just by looking at it, you have the info at hand. Right, then what other things about rhombus do you know? The opposite sides are parallel. So this means that this one is parallel to this one, and then this one is parallel to this one. So we can mark it down also so that we can make use of it. All right. Okay, so now what we want to find is the angle over here, right? Okay, BEC. Okay, I already know a 60 over here. And if you look at the triangle BEC, what kind of triangle is it? Yes, it's a isosceles triangle, right? It's an isosceles triangle because BC is the same length as CE, right? It's an isosceles triangle. So this means that if I know this angle, right, then I'll be able to find BEC already. Okay, because BEC is the same as angle CBE. So I can just take 180 minus this big angle at the center, and then I'll get my answer already. So I already know part of this big angle is 60. Can I find the other one? So whenever you have parallel lines, always look out for things like alternate angle, corresponding angles, and so on. So over here, you can see that there's actually an alternate angle. Okay, so if I draw the thing, see this one, you actually have a Z right there. Okay. Ah, so actually angle BCE, BCD is actually equals to angle CDE. Okay, by alternate angles. Okay, so we have BC parallel to DE. BC parallel to DE. Okay, so it will be 60 degrees. So actually I've solved the question. Once you know this is 60, then the total angle is 120. We can find BEC already. All right, so let's do it. So angle BEC will be 180 minus 120 over 2, right? So it's the base angle of isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle BCE. Okay, just like that. So that will give us the 30 degrees, right? Okay, so these questions are not easy. Okay, but you need to know the properties of the quadrilaterals very well lah. Okay, as well as do follow my advice. Whatever info you have, you mark it down in the diagram so you don't have to keep reading the question. And then one look at the diagram, you know that info is there, you can make use of it lah, right? Okay, the diagram shows a parallelogram PQRS. So once again, you have a parallelogram. So you need to think about the properties of a parallelogram because it's going to come in very useful to help you to solve the question. With QR produced to V and SR produced to T. It's given that WRQ is a straight line, right? So then VRU is 26 degrees, SPQ is 73. Find the values of X and Y. Okay, so X is over here, right? X is over here. Okay, X is vertically opposite to this one. Okay, so that may be one way you can think of trying to find X. Okay, if you can find TRU, right? Okay, but as of now, I don't think I can see any way to find TRU directly. All right. Okay, through two steps I can see, but not directly. Okay, so let's try another approach. Okay, if we want to find X, okay, you see X is part of this big angle, right? So do I know this big angle? Can I find it out very easily, you know? So if you're thinking that it's 73, you are right, because the opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. So if we know this big angle is 73, if only we know this small one. And what do you see about this small one? WRQ is vertically opposite to the 26. So actually we have found X already. All right. So angle SRQ. Okay, so let's first write down why angle SRQ is 73 first. Okay, what is the reason behind? Equals to angle SPQ. So this one is opposite angles of parallelogram. Okay, so you get 73 degrees. Okay, so next one, let's find the vertically opposite. So angle QRW equals to 26 degrees. So this one is vertically opposite angles. Okay, so this 26. Okay, then after we can do the subtraction already. So X will be 73 minus 26. Okay, so this is 26 degrees. This big one is 73 degrees. Okay, so that will give us an answer of 47. Okay, so now I found X already. Okay, so how can I find Y? Okay, so once again, you see it's a parallelogram and they're drawn for you the parallel lines. So we can actually make use of just one property to find Y straight away. What can you say about angles X and Y? They are interior angles, right? So you see, wherever you okay, so whenever you have these two sides that are parallel, then this angle and this angle, okay, these two angles, let's call it X and Y, okay. So angle X plus angle Y, right? It's going to add up to 180, right? Okay, so these are interior angles. Okay, so now let's do it. So Y plus X is 47 equals to 180. Okay, so this one is interior angles, and it's because SR is parallel to PW. Okay, so Y is going to be 180 minus 47, so it's 133. Right? Okay, so these are questions related to angles, okay, that may be tested in WA3. So go and do more practice and know how to write down the names of the properties. Right? Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.